Hey y'all, Jamie here. Proud 54-year-old trans woman from New Orleans. So, where last I left off, I had gone to Grand Isle tripping on acid with my friends Terry and Bobby Joe and Josie and my friend Bo, who I had dated, the trans man. Yeah. Josie decided she wanted to hook up with Bo. And listen, Bo was a typical guy. He was a typical guy. He was ready to hook up with her too. And we had rented a little 2-bedroom place there. And they decided to go back up to the cabin that we had rented. And they carried on like for a couple of hours while me and Terry and Bobby Joe did our own thing. And at one point, Bobby Joe was out there talking to the neighbors that were staying around the same area. And she was like, yes, we work at the Papa Joe's up in New Orleans, the Female Impersonator Club on Bourbon Street. Just telling them all of our business. And me and Terry were laughing at her because, we were high. Anyway, so when Josie was done with Bo, we were driving back home to New Orleans from Grand Isle. And Josie was all proud of herself. So I leaned over in her ear and I said, girl, did you have fun? And she said, yeah, he's really sweet. And I said, yeah, he's also trans. She was like, And I said, oh yeah, you did. You just did that. And she was a little cracked. Let's just put it that way. But I mean, listen, even though it was girl code not to do that with somebody else's ex or somebody they dated, our community in those days was really kind of incestuous, practically. Like, we all crawled all over each other, like, constantly. Like, yeah, monogamy was not a strong suit in those days. So, yeah, we went back to New Orleans, and I was still seeing Walker. He was living with Chili Pepper. And the thing was, him and Chili were not, like, they weren't in a really very serious situation. Like, he was living with her, but he was only spending days there with her and then going to work at the bar at night and spending the rest of the nights with me. So, like, he was at her house maybe 4 hours a day to sleep. Like, mainly he went there to sleep, so maybe 5 or 6 hours a day. And other than that, listen, that boy was wearing me out. Walker was wearing me out, y'all. He had a sex drive through the roof. And I mean, like, wanting it 5-6 times a day. When we were only spending like a few hours at the end of the night, when he would get off work and I would get off work, he wanted to, like, constantly, oh my God, I thought I was going to be ruined for life. Let's put it that way. But I was young, and I also thought I was falling head over heels because, what can I say? I was dick drunk. There's no other way to put it. And yeah, during this time, I actually got a phone call from, we had gotten a phone in our apartment on Royal Street, and my mother looked me up. Yeah, my mother that threw me out at 14 years old. Now that I was 18, she all of a sudden wanted to speak to me again. And come to find out, she told me that she had fought to get my sisters back from foster care. She had abandoned them in foster care and abandoned me with my dad when we were all little. And she had gotten me back when I was 11 until I was 14 when she threw me out. And, my sisters, she gave up when they were very young. One of them was 3 years younger than me, one was 4 years younger than me. So anyway, my mother starts calling me. And she's trying to have some kind of, civil dialogue with me, and I'm trying to be civil with her. And she tells me that my sisters are living with her again, and I had not seen my sisters since I was, like, 12. I was 12 the last time I had seen them. So needless to say, they had never met Jamie. They knew their brother, frankly. And so my mother called me one day, and she said, listen, I can't handle these girls. And especially Daphne, my sister Daphne. She said, I cannot handle her. She said she thinks she's grown. She wants to do whatever the fuck she wants to do. She's like you. She's too much like you. And she was 14 at this time still. She hadn't turned 15 yet. So she was 14 years old. And yeah, my mother said she couldn't take her. She put her out too. And my sister had come back from Houston, where my mother was, to Metairie in Louisiana. And so my mother gave me the phone number to the house where my sister was staying. And out of nowhere, like years after not speaking to me or seeing me, I called my sister at these people's house. And when she got on the phone, I told her that I had talked to our mama and that she had said that she wanted me to look out for Daphne because I was grown now and she wanted me to look out for her. And the first question, I told her that I was a transsexual. And she was like, what? And the first thing she said was, so what? You have a snatch now? And if y'all want to know how I handled that, y'all know the routine. Be here tomorrow and I will too. I love you all. I love you all for watching and I love you for the comments. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.